Welcome, everybody, to the Laser Bros podcast. It's your boys, Luke and Logan Lazarchik. Brother, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited. It's Thursday. We have a Thursday night football game, and hopefully, it's actually a good primetime game. The last couple of weeks have not been that good when it comes to primetime.
No, they have not. And today, we will be going through that game later. We are discussing a few teams and where they are in the panic meter. We want to do 1 out of 10 on those. And then we'll be discussing our picks for the week. So we can start off here just right away with the panic meter. What are your thoughts with we'll start off with the 1 and 2 Chargers, who lost 38-10 to the Jaguars, had a lot of injuries. Where would you rank them on the panic meter, 1 to 10?
I'd probably say an 8. In addition to being 1-2, all the injuries they have. Rashawn Slater's out for the year with a torn bicep. Corey Linsley was out last game, and I'm not sure if he'll be playing this upcoming week against the Texans. And then Joey Bosa tore his groin. He's on the IR. And then Keenan Allen's also dealing with a hamstring issue. And then Justin Herbert still has his lingering rib issue that may go on throughout the entire season. So in addition to their record, just injuries, it's not a very good vibe with their team right now.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I was really high on the Chargers, but they sort of fallen apart. They probably should have beat the Chiefs. We got very lucky, but since then, you lose Slater, Bosa will be out, Lindsey. They say that J.C. Jackson still isn't healthy. I probably have them like at a 9. They're really having some issues here, and it is something that is going to hurt them a lot. But luckily for them, the whole AFC West is sort of not as playing as well as everyone thought they'd be. And Chargers really need. I don't know what they're going to do. They also they lost Guyton, so they're falling left and right.
There's injury riddled right now. And do you expect them to turn it around this week? I know they play the Texans. I expect them to win, but I'm not entirely sure that they do end up coming up on top in that one.
I do believe they'll win. I believe they may win convincingly, but I still don't think it would be where it would be overall looking at the season better. I just think they come out. They know they have to win. They're going to win. If they get Keenan Allen back, that's, of course, huge. But with Keenan Allen, they need him to stay healthy. Mike Williams has a track record of having some health issues. So they're really in a tough spot. And plus, Justin Herbert is still dealing with the rib cartilage issue. So they are sort of a disaster, not by their own doing, but just by some really bad luck.
Has the practice report came out for today's practices yet in the NFL? Do we know if Keenan Allen's practicing? I know yesterday he was doing individual work on the sideline, so I'm kind of curious if he repped it up at all this today.
I have not seen anything on the Chargers specifically, but I know that some practice reports came out, but I didn't see anything on the Chargers. So maybe that's
something else. Something else to note really quick on the Chargers is Austin Eckler does not look like the same running back he did last year.
No, it does not.
I believe he's averaging like 2.5 yards per carry, and last week he had 4 carries for 5 yards, and he's not getting as much work as he did last season. You're seeing Joshua Kelly and Sony Michel come in a lot, so I think maybe they're having lack of trust with him in the running game. He's still getting that receiving work, but the offense just kind of seems generic. I feel like they need to expand. When you have Justin Herbert, you kind of need to expand what you do, not just run ordinary curl routes and, just crossing routes across the field.
Yeah, I think it's very stale right now. I don't know what's going on with Eckler. When you see Sony Michel getting carries, it's never a good thing. So they have a lot of issues. I think they'll bounce back this week, but I'm not sure who they face week 5, but that'll be probably a big matchup for them. Try to go 3-2.
I believe it may be Denver, but I may be wrong on that. I know Denver's either week 5 or week 6. Let me take a look real quick. I believe it's – let me see. Week 5. They face the Browns.
Okay.
Week 5, they face the Browns. So I think that should be a winnable game.
That's a winnable game, but that's also a game you could see the Chargers losing. So if they can come out of these 2 games – 2 good wins, it'll definitely lower the panic meter by some. What do you think about our next team, sticking with the AFC West, fortunately for us Chiefs fans, the Raiders, 0-3. The offense is not what people thought it'd be. Josh McDaniels, some interesting play calls. Devontae Adams has not really gained the ball like we all expected. What do you think about the Raiders so far? And where's your
I
panic?
would probably I would probably say 9.5. I won't go full 10, but you know, I had my worries about Josh McDaniels, but I never expected the Raiders to start out 0-3,
Mhm,
especially when I saw their schedule early on. I thought it was pretty light.
mhm.
Um, and I know, especially next 2 weeks, they face Denver and the Chiefs before their bye week. So those are two very losable games, regardless of how Denver's playing. I don't think you can give the Raiders the benefit of the doubt coming out on top in that one, even though they are at home. I just think the lack of usage with Devontae Adams is worrisome. And then, just the doubts I had coming to the season with offensive line and defense. Those are two things that kind of are playing out how I thought they were. But I thought Devontae Adams would definitely be more involved, especially after his week one outing against the Chargers.
I'm a full 10. I think the Devontae Adams thing, I think that'll be settled, but I don't even know if that's the biggest part.
Mhm.
McDaniel's play calling has been very interesting. They don't seem like the offense they thought they were. I thought McDaniels would be better as a head coach this go around. He still has time to, obviously, he has time to prove me wrong, but it's not been a good first 3 weeks. But it's really, if you look at who they've lost to the Cardinals, they lost to Chargers, and they've lost to Tennessee. The Chargers one is excusable. I mean, they still could play better because Chargers almost beat the Chiefs, so that's excusable. Then you look at the Cardinals, who just got stomped by Kansas City, and they only scored 9 against the Rams. So Cardinals haven't been impressive in their 2 games. And neither is Tennessee. I mean, Bills murdered them, but that's the Bills. But then they lost to the Giants, which isn't great. Giants who barely beat the Panthers. The Giants are 2-1, but we all know it's just some good coaching and they're working on it. And Derrick Henry, who looked not the same. Derrick Henry, he looked great against the Raiders. Looked like he got his footing back. So I don't think if they can stop anyone. The true test is the Broncos. Can they figure something out? If they let the Broncos go up and down the field on them, it may be all she wrote. So I'm a full 10. If they don't get Adams solved, then it's just over. They need him to be the one, and Carr needs to force it to him if he has to.
Yeah, and I think, Denver, they're struggling passing the ball right now. But if they continue to struggle with the pass, they may just hand it off to Javante and Melvin Gordon.
Mhm.
Raiders struggle against the run, and having those two running backs will probably show how weak that defensive line is.
Yeah, that's a real issue. Crosby and Chandler Jones are probably they're only saving grace on defense.
Mhm.
If we move on, we honestly could go to the Broncos, but we won't be talking about the Broncos. We'll be going to San Francisco. I know you were very high on them with Trey Lance, so even though I was never believing in Trey Lance. Obviously, the injury is unfortunate, so I won't put that all on you. And I know you're not a fan of Jimmy G. I'm higher
No.
on him than you are, but he's still you were right. He's terrible. Where are you with the Niners?
Man, I think this can go anywhere between 7 and 9. I'll probably go with 7.5, though. I think the biggest worry for me is the loss of Trent Williams. Because when you look at the offensive line, it was already a below average offensive line. But with Trent Williams gone, I don't know. Jimmy Garoppolo's a statue in the pocket. He doesn't really look to expand the play and run outside the pocket to find receivers open. He usually just tries to throw in the middle of the field, which is very predictable. And we kind of saw that on Sunday night where, the Denver defense, they knew that he was going middle of the field. He had a few passes batted down. And then that safety he surrendered. I mean, you could tell how much he panics in the pocket when there's pressure in his face. And there's going to be a lot of that because of the lack of protection he will not have because of the loss of Trent Williams. And, most of it stems from Trent Williams, but some of it's just the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, holds his team back. People said that he makes his team better, but I think they win despite of him.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure on my thoughts on the Niners. The defense has been better than I thought.
The
And
secondary additions they made this offseason, that was their weakness last year, and adding Ward has been very beneficial for them.
yeah, Ward's been much better with the Ward was good for us, but
Mhm.
he's looking better with the Niners. I will go with the 8. It's really the Trent Williams injury for me because they still have talent and defense and their division is not looking too hot right now. But yeah, Jimmy G, he looks like a disaster. He should be able to work with the weapons. I understand that the O line's not good and that the running back room is a carousel. I was even seeing, this probably, I don't know if you saw this, but Kyle Shanahan was saying that Tevin Coleman may be the RB2. And I find that you ride with Jordan Mason as the 2, see what he can do. You found success before with rookies. I don't know if throwing
The,
out Tevin
the,
Coleman's great.
the thing is that system can make any running back look good, which I also think as for the quarterback. And the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo, struggles with – I think Kyle Shanahan, he draws up easy throws, layup throws for Jimmy Garoppolo, and Garoppolo still struggles I don't think he really can read the field. I do not think he's a smart quarterback. And he's year 6 in the system, and people are making the excuse that he didn't have the playbook all offseason.
No, that's
Just
ridiculous.
the system didn't change at all. Even Kyle Shanahan said that during the offseason that even with Trey Lance, the playbook would not alter that much. So I think that's a poor excuse. And I don't know. He's year 9 or 10 in the league, and the mistakes he makes is the type of mistakes you expect from Trey Lance or an inexperienced quarterback. And Trey Lance has been getting slammed all season for, not showing that he's ready or with accuracy. What does Jimmy G do that, is the opposite of those criticisms of Trey Lance? So I just don't give it Jimmy G. I've never gotten it, and I don't know why people run to his defense whenever he struggles.
Yeah, I haven't been a big supporter, but I've always believed that he would be better than Trey Lance for this year. I may be proven wrong. I mean, he just looks awful. When you've got to Super Bowl, I feel like he has made clutch plays in the past, but doing that against the Broncos that's pretty putrid. So, but it's not looking great for them. I'm not sure who they are facing.
They face the Rams this week. It's Monday night.
Rams. I could expect if they compete in the game, that'll be a good sign. I think they'll compete.
So Rams haven't been that great either, to be quite honest.
Have not.
They're very Cooper Kupp centric.
Yeah, the whole NFL, there hasn't been too many stud teams. So I'm an 8, but I could see it after Monday going down to like a 5. It's just I like the defense. I still think Jimmy G could do something with these weapons. So I'm at an 8, but it's like I really could be lower.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have one final team we're going to discuss is actually the 2-1 NFC South leading Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They play the Chiefs this weekend, and with that it's very unfortunate what's going on in Florida right now, but they are actually playing the game in Tampa, which will be very interesting. Hopefully that goes all well and there's no issues with the hurricane down there. But they just lost to the Packers 14-12. They haven't looked impressive in either of their wins against the Cowboys or I just left my head or the Saints. And so where do you stand on them right now?
I would probably just say a 6, just because they're winning that division. They have Brady. I think the offensive line, it'll never be fully to its full strength, but I think they'll get Godwin back. You'll get Julio back. Mike Evans will come back from suspension this week. Mm-hmm. It's mainly the offensive line that worries me, but I think defensively they're good, and I think they'll get their weapons back. But as bad as they looked against the Green Bay Packers last week, I was kind of more – my takeaway from that game is I was more worried about the Packers, just based on the fact that game should have never been that close. In Tampa Bay, they were so much less healthy and didn't have all their weapons and weren't at full strength clearly. But I still think Tampa offensively, I think they're a mess right now. And I'd probably just say a 6 just based on the fact that they're in the NFC South and they're probably going to end up winning that division.
The Packers, man, I thought that was going to be a blowout. Then Aaron Jones fumbles. I think it would have been 21-3. Packers seem to have issues with that. I mean, they make one mistake, it all falls apart, but they still ended up winning. With Tampa, I'm going to say 7.5. And I know that they'll get players back from injury and they'll be better. But when I look at it's really about Brady. Something about Brady is really concerning this year with all the offseason stuff with him and Giselle. It's just been a little weird. And it's something that I could see just really being an issue and a distraction on the field, and he doesn't look the same. I'm obviously doubting Tom Brady just seems stupid. I've done it before, and I felt like an idiot. But he doesn't seem all in. But if he does go all in, I could see it going back down. But the O line struggles, and then receiver injuries. I don't know how healthy they'll be throughout the year. So I'll say I'm a little higher on the panic meter than you. I could see it fixing, but I can also just see it completely falling apart. And especially this weekend, we'll see what goes on against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think they're a playoff team, but I clearly don't think they're a Super Bowl contender at all this season. It's just kind of weird. The whole NFC, I just don't really have that much confidence in outside of the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. So, do we want to go into our predictions for the week?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
So, would you like to take that over, or I'll pull
I'll
up?
take that over.
Okay.
I'll take it over. So our first game we are going to discuss is tonight's game of Miami at Cincinnati, and the Bengals are favored by 3.5 points. And personally, I have the Bengals winning in one of my bets in my parlay, so I'm going to be paying attention to this game even more closely. Who do you have tonight, and how do you think it kind of plays out?
I mean, the Bengals, they have those cool uniforms today, so you got to ride with the Bengals. Dolphins are undefeated, but I think they do suffer their first loss today. Bengals have been disappointing. I'm expecting a high scoring affair, but I'm expecting the Bengals to win, and I believe they'll cover probably somewhere around 31 to 24, somewhere in that range for me.
Yeah, I also have the Bengals, and I have them covering as well. I think Miami coming off the short week, their defense played 90-plus snaps and 97-degree weather, so I think the Bengals kind of take advantage of that. And I think this game could be one where the Bengals kind of take control early and win by 10 to 12 points.
If the Dolphins pass rush really starts to get going, that would be what Miami needs to beat the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Our next game, this game is in London, so it'll be starting at 8:30 our time. Vikings against the Saints, and the Vikings are favored by 2.5.
I was thinking Saints early on for this game, but then Jameis hasn't been good. But I was thinking, Vikings have been struggling a little. They got lucky against the Lions, but if Andy Dalton's going to play, I haven't seen Andy Dalton in a while, so I'd probably just say the Vikings. Probably not in a great game. Probably a little ugly. Vikings probably, yeah, I'd say they win. Probably not too high scoring. Probably low 20s each team.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings pretty easily here. I think Andy Dalton's going to start. Michael Thomas didn't practice again today. Jarvis Landry has an injury. I think Chris Olave, I don't know if he's going to be as good with Andy Dalton under center. And I know the Vikings may be without Dalvin Cook, but I think Alexander Madison is a guy who could step in and be really solid. So I'm going to take the Vikings, and I expect Justin Jefferson to also bounce back.
He should definitely bounce back. He has been struggling a lot since destroying the Packers week 1. And if he has another weird week, the Vikings confuse me. I don't know what they are.
Mm-hmm. We'll be moving on to the Browns at Falcons, and the Browns are favored by 1 point.
All prayers to Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett had that car crash, the single car crash, and so I don't think he's playing, but have we seen anything official? I don't believe we have.
I think just injury, like we know the type of injuries he sustained from the car crash, but I don't really expect him to play this week at all.
Me neither. And even before this news, I was going Falcons. And then so I saw this. I was like, oh, definitely Falcons. But then I saw like an hour before this that Patterson didn't practice today. But I do feel like Patterson doesn't practice a lot. And I'm going to take the Falcons. The Falcons are this team I'm very intrigued by. They got I feel like just interesting players. You got Kyle Pitts is sort of unique. Drake London's unique. Patterson is, of course, unique. I mean, turns into one of the better running backs in the NFL at the age of 30. Mariota is not the normal quarterback. Then you got A.J. Terrell, Grady Jarrett. They just have these players here and there that make them a very interesting team. So I think they'll be competing in many games this year. And I'm going to ride with the Falcons in this one to pull it out, especially if Myles Garrett doesn't play. I think that it may be a very run back and forth game between Patterson and Chubb, but I'm going to lean with Mariota on this one.
Well, this is our first disagreement because I have the Browns. I think when you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I think you just run the ball, and especially against Atlanta's defense. It's a defense that doesn't really scare me. The Browns played Pittsburgh last week, and Pittsburgh, I believe, had 0 sacks, 0 turnovers. So I don't think Atlanta's defense is capable of stopping Cleveland's rushing attack, and I think Brissett just has to be serviceable to win this game. I actually think Browns win this quite comfortably by like 8 or 10 points.
Oh, really? Well, we'll see on that. I'm not sure about that one, Logan. I'm not sure about that one.
Our next game is the Commanders at Cowboys, and the Cowboys are favored by 3 points.
This is a game where I could have seen Carson Wentz bouncing back, but the Cowboys pass rush is what's going to do it in for me. They're going to get to Wentz. I think the Eagles sacked Wentz 9 times last week.
Yes.
A lot of that's the O-line's fault. When I watch some of it, sometimes it's just like Wentz doesn't have the best pocket awareness and where people are around him. And because of that, I assume Wentz is going to cause this game to fall apart. So Cowboys probably win by 10 to 14 points. It's probably a defensive touchdown in there. So I'll take the Cowboys. Surprisingly, 3-1.
I'll probably go with the Cowboys as well. I was kind of thinking about taking Commanders in this game, but Carson Wentz, I think he's prone to turnovers, and I actually really like their weapons. I really think that they can cause problems for the Cowboys defense. But as you pointed out, the Cowboys pass rush, I think, is just going to take over this game, and I think that's going to be the main difference in this game. I do expect it to be closer, though. I think Cowboys cover, but I think maybe by only 4 or 5 points. Our next game that we'll be talking about is Seattle at Detroit, and Detroit is favored by 4 points.
I've always been high on Detroit this year, but Amon-Ra didn't practice today. Swift didn't practice today. DJ Shark didn't practice today. I know that he practiced yesterday, but he didn't practice today. Reynolds didn't practice yesterday, but he practiced today. So they're very injured, and it's really made me rethink this one through. And if I'm sitting here right now, I'm still going Lions, actually. I'm still going Lions. I think they still got one of the better running attacks in football. I think this will be a high-scoring one because their defense hasn't been great, and Seattle has shown the ability to score. So I'm thinking a high-scoring one, but I think Lions will pull it out. Maybe Amon-Ra still plays. DJ Shark still plays. I'm pretty sure it's confirmed we're not going to have Swift. They haven't declared him out, but everyone knows he probably won't play. So I'm going Lions, but I'm very, very hesitant on this one.
I'm not really that hesitant, even with the injuries. I think Lions take care of business in this one. I think Jamal Williams can step in and be very good for Lions. I think as long as Jared Goff takes care of the ball, I think the defense will take care of Seattle. Seattle doesn't scare me at all with Geno Smith or any quarterback in their roster. Doesn't scare me. I just don't – Seattle, I think they could put up points, but I think as long as Jared Goff takes care of the ball and they run well Jamal Williams, I think they win this one pretty comfortably. I think they're going to win by 7 to 8 points in this one.
Yeah, I'm not as confident as you. I like the Lions probably more in general, but with these injuries, I'm not confident. But we're both riding with the Lions.
I forgot. Did you have Lions covering the 4 points, or do you think Seattle kind of keeps close?
I'd probably say they don't cover.
Okay. This is a very interesting one. The next game we'll be talking about is the Titans at Colts. Colts are favored by 3.5, and the over-under is 43.
Yeah, I don't know. Tannehill looked pretty good last week, but again, it's against the Raiders, who I'm on full panic mode on. So I'm going to ride with the Colts. And it's also, I may be even less confident in this than the Lions. But I think Matt Ryan, they did beat the Chiefs, but it was, it was just one of those games for the Chiefs. Missed field goal, missed extra point, fake field goal, fumbled punt, bad kickoff. Special teams was just atrocious. But I'll ride with the Colts because I believe they can pass the ball a little better. It'll be another low-scoring one. If Derrick Henry can put a stamp on this game, the Titans should take this one. But I'll be riding with the Colts. Probably not covering either.
I have Colts covering. I think they're going to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor, and I actually think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I'll say like 27 to 23. I think Colts. I think they do barely cover the 3.5 spread. I think I don't think any of these defenses, especially Tennessee, I don't think they can stop anybody. I think Michael Pittman's going to have a good day against the Titans secondary. I think Jonathan Taylor will get going. They tried to get Jonathan Taylor going last game, and the Chiefs' defense was actually very good against the run last week. Tennessee's roster all around, I don't think they're going to be able to hold the Colts down. And I think Matt Ryan, I think he can move the ball on this defense, even though he's been struggling this season. I think Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce are going to be very effective in this ball game. I'll say Colts 27-23.
You feel a little more comfortable on these than I do, but I'll take it.
Our next game, and this is another interesting one. Two bad teams, but the Bears at the Giants, and the Giants are favored by 3.
It's two bad teams, and they're both 2-1. And when I look at this matchup-wise, each team can run the ball. Each team is bad at receiver. Each team isn't that great at defense. But I'm going to go with the Giants, and I actually think they'll cover. And I think it's because watching Daniel Jones last week, he was pretty good. Now, it's probably not the answer long-term, but I thought he was really good. He made a mistake at the end, which did not surprise me. Sadly, I used to be all on the Daniel Jones bandwagon, but I think they'll cover here. I think if you're asking me Saquon or Herbert, probably, I'm going to ride with Saquon, and Saquon just looks excellent. And for my fantasy team, 3-0. So I'm going to be riding with the Giants here.
Have you seen anything about Dave Montgomery's practice report? Did he practice today at all? Or is there
I have not seen anything on that.
I actually think the Bears win this game. I was very surprised when I saw Giants -3. I just don't have faith in the Giants. I think losing Sterling Shepard was a big deal. I don't expect Tony to play. Galladay is not good.
Bad.
I think the Bears know what they are. They know that they're a running football team.
You don't think the Giants know what they are?
I don't. I don't think they do. I think I trust the Bears. As weird as this sounds, I think I trust the Bears more. I think they know that they have a good rushing attack. And we saw Herbert last week have 29 carries for, I think was it 157 yards?
It was a lot.
Something like that.
It was like 160s, 170s. Maybe.
And I know Justin Fields. I know he has not been really good, not even good at all. I wish they would let him throw the ball a little bit more, just give him those reps and show them that they trust him. But I think I trust the Bears in this game. I think Bears are going to win like 20-17. I think the rushing attack, and I do trust their defense a tad bit more than Giants.
So real quick here, you think the Bears know themselves more? I think Brian Daboll has done a great job with this Giants team.
I do as well.
They dink and dunk and they run. I think they know who they are.
I think the Bears – I mean, we saw the Bears down by 14 to Green Bay, and they ran the ball. They want to run the ball, and they'll do it no matter what. I think sometimes the Giants – I don't know. I think sometimes they don't know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, because you have to pass. But you just said the Bears should throw it more.
I think they should throw it more. But I think in this game, I think you don't need to force the passing game. I think have Justin Fields throw it in situational type plays. But I think Khalil Herbert, I think he's going to have a big game on Sunday.
I don't know. He may, but I think if they're going to continue to not pass, I'm riding with the Giants because they can at least pass someone. Daniel Jones has shown some – Daniel Jones has had 3 solid games. He hasn't been great. He's made mistakes, but I think Daniel Jones has proven a lot more these 3 weeks than Justin Fields. And I am taking the Giants because of Daniel Jones.
You should put that in a parlay if you're that confident in the Giants. You should do it.
You know.
Our next game is the Jaguars at Eagles, and the Eagles are favored by 6.5 points.
You know, it would be really cool if the Jags were to win. And I think it will be close. Trevor Lawrence has looked pretty good. I think the Eagles maybe come out of the gates down a little. I'm expecting an early Jags lead, but Jalen Hurts has looked really good. And I'm going with the Eagles to win this one. The Eagles don't really have any flaws anywhere. I do think just Jaguars provide an interesting offense. So I think it'll be close. Eagles' run game has been solid. Passing game has been great, but they did get a lot of deep balls against Washington. And they haven't really seemed to score too much in the second half. But obviously I'm picking the reverse in that, so maybe they pick it up. But they haven't played a full four good quarters like they are capable of, in my opinion. So I'll say it's close, but I'll go with Jalen Hurts.
I think I'm going to have the Eagles cover the 6.5 spread. I think this is where the Jaguars – I actually really do like the Jaguars this season, but I think this is the week where they come down to earth a little bit. They're coming off a 24-0 win against the Colts and a 38-10 win against the Chargers. I don't think they're going to have that run success they've had the last couple of weeks with James Robinson. The Eagles' defense is stout, and I do not expect James Robinson to rip off, a 50-yard touchdown run like he's done the last couple of weeks. And, the Eagles, I think they're going to be just defensively. I think they'll take care of this one, but I don't think the Jaguars have an answer for the Eagles' offense at all. I expect the Eagles to score, at least 30 points in this game. I think they're going to have their way with Jacksonville's defense, and I don't think the Jaguars can keep up with them offensively.
If the Jaguars can get a good pass rush from Walker and Josh Allen, I think that'll make the game even better, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Next one, I think it's going to be a snooze fest. Jets at Steelers. Steelers favored by 3.5.
You're really saying a snooze fest with my boy Zach Wilson, man? This is Zach Wilson coming back first game. This is his year. He's going to prove that he's the second best quarterback in his draft class. He's going to inch past Mac Jones. Not as good as Trevor. Zach Wilson is going to lead the Jets to victory. Elijah Moore scoring a touchdown. Fantasy team will go 4-0 with the help of Elijah Moore. Watch and learn. I'm taking Zach Wilson, man. Taking Zachary.
I think Steelers win. This is probably my least confident. Like this, I don't know. I'll probably have Steelers win just because of their defense. I think this is gonna be like a 20-13 game.
It probably won't be too pretty.
Why are you so confident in Zach Wilson? It's his first game. It's not like he's been playing. He has games under his belt this season. He hasn't played. I don't think he's gonna be that confident in the knee first game. Players off knee injuries are kind of timid, and Steelers defense, even without TJ Watt, I kind of think can create pressure and create problems for Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson has that dog in him, man. He's gonna have a great game. I've been on the Zach Wilson hype train ever since he was in college.
How you feel about Trey Lance is how I feel about Zach Wilson, basically. I think that we basically reciprocated.
Zach Wilson's done more than Lance, man. He's done more than Lance. He's thrown the ball at least not barely since his college career.
I understand that, but
Garrett Wilson's looking really good. You got Elijah Moore. Corey Davis hasn't been bad. I think Breece Hall is looking better. And I think Flacco had some good moments, but he's also limiting them. Jets win. I'm excited.
I also think Steelers win this game because they bring in Kenny Pickett start the second half, and I think
they were to bring in Kenny Pickett.
He's going to lift this offense up. I think this is the week Trubisky loses his job.
I think they should bring in Pickett if they're down at half, by 10. I could see it, but I don't know.
They may be down at half. I don't think, to be honest, I think it's going to be if they're down at half, it's probably 7-6, 10-6. I don't think there's no way that they're either shut out or Jets have 17 points or 13 points.
Yeah, it could be 14-6, 2 touchdowns. They got 2-star receivers. Pittsburgh's corners have been the weakness of their defense. I think they have 2-star caliber receivers. I think they could go out, head a little early. I don't think they'll play Kenny Pickett, but if they did, I'd be all for it for Kenny Pickett, man.
I think this would be a great spot to play Pickett. He's playing. You want to start a rookie quarterback against a team that isn't that great defensively, and I think this is a good spot to start Pickett in the second half if Trubisky's still struggling, which I expect him to.
See, I'd be starting Pickett right now, but I don't think Tomlin will do it. I don't think he will.
So after talking about snooze fest, our next game will be a barn burner. The Bills at the Ravens. The Bills are favored by 3, and the over-under is 51, which I think is kind of easy to bet the over in this one.
The Bills have played Lamar well, but same for the year, Lamar MVP. He's been great, leading my fantasy team, of course.
You're really talking about your fantasy team right now. I don't know how it's 3-0, to be quite honest.
It's 3-0 because I have Lamar Jackson.
Mine is too,
but I have Lamar Jackson and Saquon. But even though the Bills, I assume they're healthier than they were last week, and because of their overall carousel defensive linemen and their success in the past against Lamar, I don't think they're as successful. But the Ravens defense, it's not stopping Josh Allen. I'm going 41-35. Bills. I think it's going to be nuts. I think Lamar is going to have his best game against the Bills in recent history, but I think just the Ravens defense is not there at all, and Josh Allen's going to drop he's going to go off. And I think this will be the MVP race after this game. I know it's only 4 weeks in, but that will be the discussion. These two for MVP. Hurts will still be in it, but I think it'll be focused on these two after this game.
This could be potentially set up for a blowout. I do
It's
think it's a
possible.
close
It's
game. I
possible.
do think it's a close game, but the Bills are coming off of a loss. They're going to be pissed off. The Ravens just don't outside of Lamar, like J.K. Dobbins, they're not even running. I don't think they're running the ball enough to their running backs. I think they're putting a lot of pressure. The thing with
Justin
both these
Fields had
teams
a
is I
good
think
week.
that both these teams are overly dependent on their quarterbacks. But I do think the Bills have a better overall roster than Ravens. I think the Bills can win this by 10, 13 points, but I think they win by maybe a touchdown in this game. So I think it's a closer game, but I could also see the Bills, blowing this game open early and Lamar having to come back and Lamar having some ugly turnovers.
I think the Bills have played with Lamar well in the past, which makes me worried a little bit. Man, he's Lamar Jackson. But I did see Gabe Davis. I don't believe he practiced today, which was interesting. That's
So he
something
didn't. I saw he's limited yesterday, so he didn't practice today. So
he did not
downgrade.
practice today.
That's not a good sign for him playing if you're limited on Wednesday and then not practicing on Thursday.
No, that is not. But Diggs, I know he was hurt at the very end, but I've heard nothing about him since. So I assume he's fine.
Wasn't just cramps?
Yeah, maybe
cramps,
it's
right?
cramps. So he's probably fine. So Diggs probably just has another monster game. I am very excited, but I do agree that there is a blowout chance if this Bills D line are able to conform Lamar like they have. But I still think Lamar. I've watched some highlights on Twitter and some clips. He does look like a smarter quarterback. Not throwing like these beautiful, gorgeous throws, but he does look smarter. So I do think he has a good game. I think Bills go up ahead. Lamar creeps back in. And he just doesn't do enough, but I am excited for this game.
I am as well. Our next game, we discussed this earlier. The Chargers at the Texans, and the Chargers are favored by 5.
I don't know how much this game is a discussion. It's just, I think it's like, will the Chargers mess it up having everyone hurt? And I think no. I think Herbert has a bounce back game after that. He hasn't had a signature like insane game yet, and I think he has a really good game. Especially Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I'm expecting a blowout here, maybe by 10, even possibly 20 points. Chargers bounce back big time here.
I do think Chargers are winning. I do think they're covering. I would be where you are, just like if by saying it's going to be a blowout. But if Corey Linsley doesn't play and Rashawn Slater being gone, I mean, they're lucky they're playing the Texans because if they're playing,
yes, that's a big part of it. They're playing the Texans.
If they're playing anybody with a pass rush, I'd probably say Chargers lose. But I think getting Keenan Allen back this week, which I do think they will have him back. I think that's a big deal for the offense. I just want to see this offense. You have Herbert. You can roll him out and throw across the field. These plays
he is hurt though.
He is hurt, yeah. But I mean, you saw a throw last week where he threw a ball on a rope 50 yards down the field. I think that was to Guyton. But I think when you have Herbert, you have to expand what you do. It's just such a generic offense. I do think they win. I think if they start out the gates fast, it'll be a blowout. But if they get like a field goal on their first drive and then punt or another field goal on their second drive, I do think this could be a game where the Texans do stick around for maybe 3 quarters. But I do expect the Chargers to cover by 5, maybe like a 30-17 ball game.
No, yeah, I think it's a bounce back, but I don't think it's like overall telling on the season. I just think they have a really good week.
The next game, and I'm shocked by this line. Cardinals at Panthers, and the Panthers are favored by 2 points, which I also put this in my parlay. I think this is an easy bet.
Do you ever have you ever thought about this game and been like, why is Vegas -2? Vegas pretty smart. Why are they doing it? But
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get people to bet heavily on the Cardinals, and then they'll keep moving the line. I don't understand though.
Cardinals are going to win. They don't want people betting on the Cardinals.
I mean, that's true, but I don't know why. Well, I mean, what have the Panthers done to show confidence that they should be favored in any game?
And McCaffrey has this thigh issue, which is
I don't understand it.
But no, I have Cardinals. I kept trying to the only thing that made me think about it was truly what does Vegas know or what do they see because they're smart. But it's like no, Panthers been bad, Baker's been terrible, and Kyler.
I told you.
Kyler's had some moments. Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. I know. Yeah, that's wrong. But Kyler has had some moments. He's been great. Marquise Brown had like 14 catches last week. I'm expecting a big Marquise Brown game. Probably 24 to 14. 17, maybe 20. I'll go with Cardinals.
I'll go Cardinals as well, and I think they get the run game going this game. Cliff Kingsbury even said that he wants to get James Conner going, get more touches. I think James Conner has a big game. Baker Mayfield, I don't know if he can even put up 17 points in this game, even as bad as Cardinals secondary is. He doesn't like you have Christian McCaffrey, and I don't know if they're gonna have him this week. But he has not been throwing the ball to Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't make any sense. You have a playmaker.
It makes no sense. I saw some clips where Baker's I forgot who it was on Twitter, but some clips where they're saying that if you look at Baker with pressure right now, his footwork just goes all out of whack.
I think he's panicking in the pocket.
Yeah, Matt Rose don't help.
As much as people want to hate on Sam Darnold, and I was a Sam Darnold guy coming out of the draft and even going to Carolinas, he was 3-0 with his team, and the team was arguably worse.
I think
when Christian McCaffrey was healthy last year, they started out the year 3-0, and I know it was against like Texans and a couple other bad teams.
Jets,
but,
I believe.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how the Panthers fare in this game. I'm taking Arizona. I think Arizona wins by 8-10 points. I don't get it. I would like to see Kyler Murray run more. I think he only had like 2 carries, 8 yards last week or something along those lines. I think Cardinals win this one pretty comfortably.
I do too. Just hopefully Vegas doesn't screw you, man. Maybe they know what they're talking about.
Another game which I'm not excited about at all. I betted on this one. Patriots at the Packers. The Packers are favored by 9.5.
Over under a 40.
Yes.
Well, I saw that Max trying to play, but I'm just going to assume
he's not playing.
If he plays, that dude's nuts.
There's discussion about him possibly needs surgery. He's not playing.
He's not going to play, but man, I love Mac. It's a weird turnover thing, which you would just not expect from someone like him. It's just like once a game, he just says, I'm an idiot, and I don't know why. But besides that, I think Mac's pretty good. So I'm going to say Packers. I don't think anyone's predicting Patriots. Patriots win. The Packers are just they would have a lot. They need a trade for a receiver right away. But I got Packers here, probably a run-heavy game. I think Packers go more into the passing offense, probably because they can. And it's probably.
Do you have a covering the spread?
Covering the spread, I don't know.
I think they cover easy.
This is one of those times I'm happy I can't bet because
I would not know what
to do, and then I'd feel like the last-second confidence that Aaron Rodgers is about to throw 300 yards, and I'm happy I don't have to deal with that. So, but I don't know. If I had to choose, I'd say they don't cover, but it's like barely don't cover.
I think they cover.
You know what? They cover. I changed my mind.
Yeah, you have Brian Hoyer starting. The last time we saw Brian Hoyer start, he threw like 2 picks against the Chiefs and took a sack when the clock was raining down. They had no timeouts. Yeah. This game's gonna. I don't think Patriots get to 13 points.
That's very possible if they don't.
I think it's gonna be like 27-10, 30-10. It's at Lambeau. You have the Green Bay. I don't understand why people would hesitate on the spread. What do Patriots do offensively that would even threat the Packers defense?
The Patriots run game has been pretty good, and the Packers always seem to have the run game to go through. It's possible. They have the best run game.
It's
no guarantee they're covering.
They could have the best running attack in the century, and I don't think they would do. You have Brian Hoyer at quarterback. He's not going to move. Especially if it was at New England. If it was at New England, like okay, it's at Lambeau.
When's the last time Lambeau's truly? They've lost all their playoff games.
If you have Packers defense and fantasy, congratulations, they're going to score 30. The Green Bay's defense, they're having at least 3 picks. Brian Hoyer is awful. You have Joe Judge and Matt Patricia running on offense, and Bill Belichick doesn't even look like he wants to be there.
You know what? They need to beat the Ravens.
Can we stop? Yeah, and you're. Okay, we're not even going to discuss that.
Yeah, I have Packers winning and covering. I don't know why we're arguing.
Okay, but this is showing you a discussion though of I don't know why people bet the Patriots plus 9.5. I think it's gonna be a blowout.
Whatever, good.
We'll move on. I doubt people want to keep listening to this banter. The next game, and I'm so torn on this one. It's the Broncos at the Raiders. Raiders 0-3, Broncos 2-1. The Raiders are favored by 2.5 in Vegas.
Man, the AFC West sucks. I'm going with the Raiders, even though I was like full panic mode on them. They can't lose. This Broncos team cannot be 3-1, and this Raiders team can't be 0-4.
So are you? Do you think Broncos just saw? You think this is a Russell Wilson? I don't think this is the
No, I
Russell
think he's
Wilson that
better
we're going to see
than
this entire
this,
season.
but I'm not saying he's like gonna. Russell Wilson right now is probably like.
We've discussed this. I think the lack of preseason playing time is why
That's your theory. If you're right on that theory, then I'll give you all the praise. But I don't know about that fully. It's an interesting thought. But I don't know. I'm gonna go Raiders. I think Devontae goes off. He has to go off.
I don't know.
I can't do this again. You just you traded 2 picks to the Packers.
Go talk to Derek Carr. He's the one not throwing the ball.
You know, he needs a
Josh McDaniels isn't scheming plays for him. This is why I didn't like Josh McDaniels. I don't think he's the type of guy who wants to like hyper target a.
No, that may be his weakness. He needs to adjust. And
I think he's fired at the end of this year.
I saw that he and the
owner.
Yeah, Mark Davis had a one-on-one meeting after the game. Maybe Mark Davis telling him throw the ball to the dang receiver who you're paying 20-something million and you trade 2 picks for. But they're gonna win. Not confident.
God, I don't know where to go here.
No. Why could
if this is at Denver, I would definitely take Denver. That'd
be a good one to do and that helps me confirm my Raiders pick. Why do I feel like this is all of a sudden going to be like some awesome football game just out of nowhere? Just like
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take. God. I'm gonna take Denver. I'm gonna hesitantly take.
Go with Nate Hackett. You go with Nate Hackett.
I don't know if Josh McDaniels is so good. I would go Josh McDaniels, but he sucks.
Oh, he's better than Hackett. He's better than Hackett.
Anybody's better than Hackett. Broncos. I'm gonna say their defense. I think their defense takes control of this one. The Raiders' offensive line is not good, and I think that's where the Broncos are very good as their defensive line. I think when you have Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory on opposite sides, and on Sunday night they actually played them on the same side.
Gregory, he looked good at the end, didn't he?
Yes.
Sacks
I think. What you say?
He got a couple sacks at the end, right? I believe
so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you put Pat Surtain on Devontae. And I'm not saying he's going to shut down Devontae, but I think he can do good against Devontae. I don't think Renfro's been practicing this week, and I think that's a big loss. I don't think he has, and that's an underneath guy. I'm gonna sound like an idiot. I may look like an idiot after this game. I could look like a dumbass, but I'm gonna say the Broncos win this. I'm gonna say like 23-20. I think like a late field goal at the end wins this game. I don't think their offense has to be out of this world to win this game. I think you run the ball, Javonte and Melvin. We saw Derrick Henry, who we thought could be done after the first 2 weeks, run all over his Raiders defense. And the Raiders offense struggling to Tennessee. They're down 14-3.
Yeah.
The Denver's defense is lights out. If this is at Denver, I'd be saying Denver. So
Devontae will be the highest scoring fantasy player this week, is my opinion. He's going to have like 12 catches, 160, and 2 touchdowns. It's just a Devontae. That's why they're going to win. I'm not trusting them all year, but this week Devontae's just going to.
I'll say Denver covers like 23-20. That's my final prediction. I may look like a complete idiot after this game. It may happen.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Denver.
It's weird.
Now, Sunday night, Chiefs at Bucks.
Oh, we're winning. Let's stop.
Chiefs are minus, or no.
No, yeah.
Bucks are -1 now. That's ridiculous.
Did the odds change because the game's being played in Tampa? Did they anticipate?
I regret playing the Chiefs. I should have waited for them to make my parlay. My parlay was Chiefs -1.5.
Well, here's the thing: if I thought it was going to be played in Minnesota, that the switching could be the huge thing in moving the odds.
But like, it wasn't like when I made the bet on Tuesday. Was there discussion yet that it would be played?
There was a discussion, but maybe they looked ahead and knew that there.
I remember yesterday it was like for sure that they were discussing.
No, I'm shocked. I'm shocked, but I don't think it matters. Tampa, I don't think is there right now. If all we gotta do is guard Mike Evans, Chiefs defense is honestly the best part of this team. Our defense looks very impressive in my eye. Chris Jones is having a revenge game for that stupid penalty call, calling 2 sacks And against Tom Brady.
Do we know what he said to Matt Ryan?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I mean, it's football. We can't talk smack.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't get it, man.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, go ahead.
2 sacks, Chris Jones, and of course against Tom Brady, who he doesn't like. I think we win comfortably. 27.
Go ahead, sir.
17. 10 points.
You said 27. You said 27-13?
17.
Okay. I think the worst team you want to play after a loss is the Chiefs. No. I think the Chiefs are going to go up 14-0 in this game.
And Tampa doesn't have the best corners, so
no. The first 2 drives, Chiefs will score touchdowns. I think Chiefs win this. I'm gonna say 31-14 Chiefs. I think it's gonna be a blowout.
That's a little low, but I'll take it.
I don't. What have the Bucs shown offensively? They've scored 19, 13 offensive. They scored 20.
13 offensive.
7 was on a pick 6, and then 12. I mean.
And on the last drive at that.
If this was a Chiefs defense from a couple years ago, okay. But this Chiefs defense actually has been playing very well.
No, we're an all-around defense, all around.
Yeah, I think Chiefs win this pretty comfortably.
Only one star, but then a whole bunch of good players. Yeah, Chiefs win.
Yep. Last game of the week, Rams at 49ers. The 49ers are favored by 1.5.
What?
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
I'm sorry. You're joking.
I'm not joking.
Doesn't Kyle Shanahan have a really good record against Sean McVay?
Yeah, that's with Trent Williams and Jimmy G's crap.
I'm going to say Rams in a very close, ugly game. It's not going to be pretty. Jimmy G plays better than he gets Broncos, but not good enough. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Jalen Ramsey pick to seal it. But I'll go Rams. I mean, they obviously cover. The over-under 42.5, probably under. But I'll go Rams.
Okay, I agree. I'll take Rams, and I think they win this by a touchdown. I don't know if we're going to be seeing the 49ers offense really moving the ball. And their offensive line is not good. When you look at it, when people say that they have a good offensive line, I don't understand. Outside of Trent Williams, I don't see anybody that can really protect the passer. I think Jimmy G is so bad. I don't understand. I do not understand why people. I have to hear when I watch these shows, everybody's he took him to the Super Bowl. He threw the ball 8 times in the NFC Championship game. They traded 3 first-round picks for a player who barely played in college. That shows you how much they trust him. When they trade 3 first-round picks, not even for a quarterback like Rodgers or a known commodity. They're trading for a quarterback who has the most question marks in that draft just based on experience. Jimmy Garoppolo plays he's if you were a non-football fan and you just turn on the screen and you didn't see because Jimmy G has gray hair. If you didn't see that he had gray hair or that he looks like he's 30, you would think that's a rookie playing. He doesn't throw any deep balls down the field. He had Debo wide open down the left sideline. He throws a punt pass to him. It would have been a touchdown if he leads them. It would have been a touchdown if he just puts the ball in front of Debo. I really don't understand why people defend Jimmy or think that he is a better option than Trey Lance. I know Trey Lance is inexperienced. He can do so much more than Jimmy G. If you look at the safety, Jimmy G is pissing his pants. He backpedals into the end. Look at his feet. He's shuffling in the end zone. He is not I know it's clearly off top. I'm taking the Rams by a touchdown. There's my prediction.
If they had Mac Jones, they'd be a Super Bowl contender at the point. But
you don't trade 3 first-round picks for Mac Jones.
You just stay. They would have stayed at their pick, drafted Mac Jones. They may have a Super Bowl already.
Do you have anything you want? I'm kind of worked up right now. Do you have anything you want to add before we close out this episode?
I want to add all prayers to my fantasy team. Christian McCaffrey, stay healthy. Our dynasty team that we share, pick it the hell up. Pick it the hell up, boys.
I don't understand what's
we are
happening.
Defending.
We just came off winning a championship.
We just lost to the worst team. I don't care if you have Lamar. That's brutal.
It's been
our keeper league team. Maybe Russ Wilson, if he could have thrown a touchdown, Cortland Sutton, we could have won. Team that we're up and dad with. My optimism is
I don't know how we're on 3-0.
main league. I'm 3-0. You're 3-0. I don't deserve to be 3-0, but I have Lamar and Saquon, and that's my spiel for that. You got anything else after your Jimmy G rant?
I do not. Just want to remind you guys again to subscribe, leave a like on the video, and then comment any suggestions. We're open to talking about anything, and we will be doing this
Not
weekly.
anything. Most things.
Yeah, most things. Thank you for listening.